So here's a good one that I absolutely could not wait to cover once this story was sent over to me. About a guy whose ex-college fiance had not one, not two, not three, but 4 baby daddies of 5 kids. And she's wanting this guy here repeatedly over time to try to adopt them and take care of them. Yeah, not kidding. Titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to bring my ex's other children along on days out with our 2 sons? And a shout out to Ash for sending me this short story. He says, I, a 32-year-old male, have 2 sons, Jamie, 11 years old, and Jaden, 10 years old. Their mother and I were high school sweethearts who had the boys before we finished college. We had planned to get married, but then I found out my ex was cheating on me and I broke up with her. Oh, good for you, dude. Jaden was 14 months old at the time, and we split custody, and I paid child support for the first 18 months post-breakup, until my ex was earning similar money to me, which meant child support was ceased and costs were simply split with nobody giving anyone extra. Okay, so this is 1 baby daddy, 2 kids. They were going to be married, but she's a big giant cheater. Okay, here we go. My ex had another son 2 years after we broke up. The father was not in the picture. Shocker. She told me he was the guy she cheated on me with, and that she realized he was a piece of crap, etc., and asked if I would consider adopting her son and raising him as my own along with the boys. 2 years later, she gets pregnant, has a boy, and guess what? This baby daddy, he's gone. Oh, but will you come adopt him even though this is the guy I cheat on you with? Are you fucking kidding me? But you see, the perception she has of this guy, even though he dumped her, is that he's a nice guy and she can get her way. So now we have 2 baby daddies and 3 kids. I told her I was not going to do that. We ended up arguing about this for so long that she had time to get into another relationship and move this man in. So I told her that he should be a father figure to her son since they plan on building a life together. Within a year, that guy was gone and she had a daughter that he fathered. Okay, now we have 3 baby daddies and 4 kids. Has this broad ever heard of birth control? Or condoms? Or anything? Oh my God. I continued being a dad to my sons only. I didn't interact with her other 2 children, but I would see them from a distance during exchanges. She asked me to adopt both her additional kids, stating they need a father, and I told her to go find their fathers then. Yeah, it's not his fucking problem. So his sons, that he had with her initially before he found out she was cheating, now have a half-sister and a half-brother from 2 different... I mean, this is some Springer shit here. She eased up when she met her husband. I thought maybe it was finally the end of her trying to make me responsible for her other kids. She had a child with her husband now too, so 5 in total in her household when our boys are included. 5 kids from 4 different fathers. And here's the thing. Some blue-pilled, sucker, nice guy, white knight, dumb motherfucker married her with 4 children from 3 different fathers at the time, and he has one with her. How desperate and dumb could this guy be? But this is why I do this channel and the other 2 channels, to share these stories. And hopefully I can minimize dumbasses out there that would do stuff like this. But it has not lasted. My ex has admitted to her husband isn't involved in the lives of her other kids, and they are still missing out on having a father. So she asked me to include her 3 other kids, and that does include the child she has with her husband and days I have with my sons. Translation: can you take the 3 other kids with you when you take our boys to the amusement park or something like that and pay for them? No. I'm sure these are nice kids. It's not these children's fault that her mother is a, let's be honest, you're a WHORE on steroids, or doesn't have the funds to, take them to do things that this guy does with his 2 sons. It's not his problem. She said, especially during summer and around Christmas, when I'd take them to do fun holiday-themed activities. It's not something that she can give her other kids, and she wants them to experience these things as well. Well, if she doesn't have the finances to do the things she wants to do with these kids, then she should have kept cranking out babies. There's an idea. She finds out when I do these things with my boys because she will quiz them about their time with me. Each time she gets angry. But when the boys were with her 2 weeks ago, she got extra pissed off. Talk about putting her boys in a bad situation. She had mentioned to me that her son, the oldest of her other 3 kids, didn't get much for his birthday, and she had wanted to make it up to him. That was meant to mean me. So when she heard that our boys and I had visited an amusement park around his birthday, she blew a fuse and asked me, how could I be such an a-hole to children? She told me I should be doing better as a father. Am I the a-hole? No. Not all. I mean, she's the a-hole and all the dumbasses got involved with her. I feel bad for her kids, but Jesus. No, you shouldn't not take your kids to the amusement park or fun activities because it's around the birthday of one of her many kids. I'm sure there's more fucking kids at this point. No way. Ruin your kids' good time because fairness towards the other ones aren't your kids? No. Again, I feel bad for those kids, but no. So he now adds more comments in this thing about his situations I'm going to read. And a lot of you guys are thinking, why the hell does this guy not try to get full custody? Well, he wants to. But there's not enough there yet for him to pull it, and he mentions that in his thing. Now, a few comments here about the situation, because I'm sure you're curious about this wacko. He says, she's my ex-fiance, not ex-wife. We were not married. Also, she was my high school girl, and we were very young. I wasn't thinking of kids until 20, until I had to, and I did my best to step up and make it work. By the way, he mentions that there was tests. These are his kids. She's never tried to get back together with me or sleep with me since we broke up. Even when she was begging me to adopt her kids, she wasn't trying anything like that. Honestly, she cheated because she didn't want to be with me anymore. We were high school sweethearts who had a kid and another one together, and we were getting married. We were each other's first and only at that point. She wanted more kids, but she wouldn't be honest and instead decided to hook up with others and found another guy she liked more. He also says, the thing about this is, if I step up, she expects more. She can also convince her kids I'm going to do more. Then it becomes a burden when I suddenly have 2 and sometimes 3 additional kids with me for this stuff, and then it's, can't they sleep over? Can't they have a weekend with you, or can't you buy them stuff? And then she can go after me for some kind of parental responsibility. Exactly. The other side is my boys don't want to include them. They like having family time with just for us and getting to be our own little family of 3. Right, his sons that started this whole thing, they have 3 half siblings. They may like them, but they want their time with their dad. And this dude is their dad. He doesn't owe her or those kids anything. And again, let that white knight dumb motherfucker that married her, let him deal with that. He also says, my sons are uncomfortable with her questions. They hate that she asks them, but they don't feel comfortable not giving her answers either. They do not want me to take the other kids. They have said that they like being just us and getting time away from the chaos of their mom. Chaos. Well, I think he said his kids are 11 and 10. There's going to be some point where the kids will be allowed to make the decision, I want to go stay with my dad full time. I'm guessing it probably depends state to state where you live, how old the children have to be to make that choice. But I'm sure that's the first chance they get, they're out of there. I know they don't dislike their half-siblings, but they aren't closer to each other and don't really have a strong relationship with the others. I've talked to a lawyer. There's just nothing we can do about it right now. But anyhow, there you go, guys. Crazy situation. So, I guess you know what it is? I just couldn't resist doing that story. 5 children, 4 different baby daddies. God almighty. And she's still, I think he said how the hell old is she? She is 32. That's a whole lot more time for her to find new guys and pop out more kids. I mean, again, have you heard of birth control? But good God. So, I really can't find a whole point to this whole story other than don't be a sucker. Don't be a white knight. This is what is out there. And a lot of guys out there that are young and that don't have a lot of experience, maybe didn't get a lot of attention from the gals, and think finally some girl's paying attention to me. And maybe, oh, by the way, she has baggage, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. Don't fall for this nonsense. I get you're lonely. I get you want some ass. But I'm sure you work on yourself. You can get a gal that doesn't have that much baggage. And if you don't do that, and if you don't listen, well, imagine the shitstorm you're going to deal with here. So anyhow, that'd be a pretty funny one to go over here.